So first of all, is democracy an end in itself? What is an end in itself, okay? Because it's quite a technical seeming term, but once you understand it, you'll always understand it. So it refers to something with intrinsic value, okay? So the value is inherent within it. So let's take the example of playing chess, for instance. Some people might play chess in order to develop their brain, train their brain to think in a certain way, or they might play chess because their friend wants to play chess and therefore they are being a good friend by playing chess. Or you might just play chess because playing chess has value to you. You're not playing chess for another reason. You're just playing chess because that's a good thing for you. You want to play chess. You want to play the game. And it would be similar with other games. So football, for instance, some people might play football to keep fit, whereas some people might play football just because playing the game is something that to them is a good thing in itself. So if democracy is an end in itself, then generally if someone says, I want democracy and it's an end in itself, they mean that just having democracy is something good. It has intrinsic value to it. So most people who would argue that would say that as people, we just want to have power over our own lives. We want to have some input into the laws that govern our society, and that is just a good thing. And if this doesn't make complete sense now, always think about it as the opposite, which is the means, okay? So if democracy is not an end in itself, then it is a means to something, a way of reaching something else, some other end. And we've mentioned freedom and equality as two prominent ones. Or you can just think about it as stopping dictators, for instance. Some people would say, well, actually, I don't love voting, or I don't love thinking about politics and laws, but we have to do that because otherwise some dictator will control our lives. So that's the view, that democracy is a means to do something else, stopping oppression, for instance. Or some people think it might produce more prosperity and economic success, which is another idea that we'll talk about throughout the following lectures. So why does it matter for this question in particular whether democracy is an end in itself? Well, if you remember, if we get the question back up, the question is there such a thing as too much democracy? Can too much democracy be a bad thing? Well, if democracy is an end in itself, something that just has intrinsic value, if you believe that, then it's unlikely that you're going to say there could be too much democracy, because that's like saying, well, for me, playing football is the best thing in the world. It's inherently good. It's what humans should do. And therefore, if I could play football all day, that would be great. Whereas if you think democracy is just a means of doing something else, i.e. having a good policy or stopping dictators, if you believe that, and then suddenly it looks like democracy is not stopping dictators or not leading to good policy, then you might have too much democracy, you might have too little democracy, but basically democracy in that instance is not doing what we want it to do. So for instance, if someone thinks democracy is intrinsically good, then they would, and wanted it, then they would not mind if democracy produces bad policy, because they would say, well, we don't like democracy because it makes good laws. We like it because it's just good and we should have it. We should have control, in the same way that the people should control their future, in the same way that I should control my future, maybe. Okay, so they're saying it's better that people in a community choose their laws, even if those laws are bad, than it is that someone else makes them follow good laws.